morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you all very much for coming to today's DealTap Training Seminar. So my name is Dusan, and I run all the engagement and acquisition at DealTap. So I guess what I'm here today to do is basically show you guys a new way that the agents are now starting and completing deals. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a little walkthrough of some industry trends that we picked up in the last couple of years. Why DealTap, what it's all about, and then I'm going to wrap up with an actual demo so you guys can see firsthand how to actually use it and feel a bit more familiar in getting on the platform and generating your first paperless agreement. So your brokerage is obviously already registered as a dear client of ours. They've been actually one of the first to actually launch our platform in brokerage's offices. So a lot of what you see in terms of functionality and features in this platform have come from direct recommendations from your colleagues. So this is almost like a DealTap / Remix Ultimate product. So it's very much geared to what you guys typically have in your workflows, and I hope you guys really enjoy the presentation. So my parents first decided to buy their home when I was a little kid. There was one sort of episode throughout that entire process that I found very memorable. Okay, and the key point here was that the agent who was representing us kept on coming inside the house carrying a whole stacks of paper. Okay, and when I obviously wasn't allowed to come into the living room and see what all the grown-up talk was all about, but that was one sort of fond memory that I really recall. And when I fast-tracked to a few years ago, when we bought our property back in Kingston, I noticed the agent, he was doing the exact same thing. So I'm a technologist and an entrepreneur, and I looked over to my brother and I said, there's got to be a better way, right? So the point that I guess I'm trying to make here is that ever since real estate has been real estate, the deal vehicle itself, which is paper, hasn't seen any innovation or drastic change since the deals have actually been started. And this sort of lack of innovation and change has really trickled down and caused some stagnation within the actual industry that I want to actually highlight. So the vehicle, the paper, has been fundamentally the core of the deal, and it hasn't seen any change. So since you started the industry till right now, this is basically all agents ever know, right? However, there's been a fundamental shift in the way that people now are buying hardware and consuming content and doing business, okay? And that's primarily due to the whole new wave of mobile revolution. So as you guys know, the smartphone has become ubiquitous, and almost every single individual owns one and uses it on a daily basis. On a national average, it's about more than half of everyday Canadians. And the important here is that people have now moved away from the desktop and onto mobile platforms, and they're now doing business, and they're checking out their emails and consuming content on the go. Okay, and the reason why I raise this is because people are comfortable with doing banking online, they're ordering things online, doing shopping online, they're all doing it from their phones, and there's a disconnect in the way that realtors are serving their clients by not being in the mobile space. Given the fact that these things have become so predominant, it's an opportunity that needs to be addressed. And so, in response to that, the industry is making a big shift to digital. Okay, and one of these big shifts is driven by two things, or the two most recent things. First thing is the announcement of e-signatures. So e-signature is now legally admissible for all real estate agreements, including agreement purchase and sale. Up until July 1st, that hasn't actually been the case. And the reason why there's been a big push from a legislative perspective is because there's a great focus on convenience for the customers and adopting with the times and providing relevancy for the realtor. Another thing that I want to bring up too is also the RICO Bill 55. So has anyone heard about this piece? Okay, great. So basically, what it tries to address is the phantom offers that have been going around, right? And the reason why that I'm mentioning this particular legislation is because now there's even more administration. There's even more paperwork that needs to be handled both by the agents, the admins, and the brokerages. So there's even a stronger, compelling reason for people to start thinking about alternative ways to manage all these different offers and manage all these different workflows, right? And digital seems to be a very promising tool for that. So I know you guys have probably are all very well versed with the condo bubble and the housing bubble discussion has been going around for years and almost decades really in Toronto. But I'm not going to be debating that. One thing I do want to address is the agent bubble. So just in the last 10 years, the amount of agents in the region or the board of TREB has doubled. It's went up from 20,000 to over 44,000 in just a span of 10 years. And I guess what I'm really trying to boil down here is that the space is becoming increasingly competitive and difficult for one agent to differentiate the services from the other. And so, that's really best represented by the per capita stat that we see here. So in Canada, you have one realtor for every 245 people. In GTA, you have a drastic difference of one realtor for 140 people. This competition is obviously eating away at the total amount of deals that the average realtor is making, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to not only solicit for business, but to secure those really meaningful client conversations and experiences. So when I was going on the career website and I was trying to look for the definition of the realtor, this is what I came up with. The realtor, by the standard of what a realtor is, he's responsible, or he or she is responsible for making the transaction as easy as possible for the client. Okay, keyword here, as easy as possible. The problem, though, is it's very difficult to serve that expectation with the current workflow that agents are now working with. Okay, so what you guys see down in this infographic is a basic sort of transaction, step by step, that agents have to go through from start to finish. So I broke it down into 4 main quadrants. I broke it down from offer generation, assigning and approvals, negotiating, and then finally all the post-transaction pieces, right? And the main problem that I'm trying to raise here is that it's all fragmented because you're using different tools and pieces of software for every single stage of the actual process. So you're creating things. I think you guys are using web forms here, right? Yeah. So you're creating an offer on web forms, and then you're jumping off to your printer and scanner to facilitate signing. Or if you're tech savvy now, you may use DocuSign or Dusan or whatnot. But then when you share it over to the other party, they have to do the exact same thing: print it out, make amendments with their pen, rescan it, send it back to their clients, and the client has to do the exact same thing. And the last thing, when it gets down to the admin, people are chasing for missing signatures, missing paperwork. You're submitting a whole stack of papers, a bunch of attachments to email that don't really make sense, and all of that is basically leading to a bunch of problems. So it's a lot of inconvenience for yourself and to the client, in the sense that you're now relying on the client to have a printer or scanner in their home, and in the likely chance that they don't, you have to try to organize a meeting or whatnot to either go to Kinko's or meet with them and bring the paperwork and so forth. And I believe all that could be greatly avoided. Okay. When you're actually going through negotiation, and I think I could be confident to say a lot of people are guilty of this. When you actually go through different rounds and you send offers between fax machines, at some point the offer becomes completely legible, and it's some agent, either the buying or the listing, has to recreate the whole thing, just because at the end of the deal, you can't even see if you're buying it for $1 million or for $10,000, right? And that's obviously a big concern. Because you're now reliant on the printers and scanners, you can't take these clunky pieces of hardware with you on the go, right? And you're sort of tied to your chair or to your office, either be at home or in the actual brokerage. So if you have to facilitate an actual deal, you have to go to these physical locations to actually facilitate through the printers and scanners, and you can't take it on the go with you. And then obviously, spending a lot of time in traffic behind the wheel, trying to go from meeting to meeting, especially when there's a tight revocability date, and you got to transfer from one part of the city to the other. Auditing through RICO becomes, it's a very stressful experience. Mainly because brokerages and admins are all scrambling to find the latest paperwork, and making sure that all the documentation is there in place. People are working the back office here, but that's probably what they look like when they have to receive your stuff and chase you for certain missing signatures and so forth. So when you sort of boil all these trends down, the lack of change within paper or deal vehicle, the changing mobile expectations of clients, really the heightened competition and the very inefficient workflow the agents are doing, you sort of create a polarizing effect. Okay, and so you have two types of agents. You have the agent who's been in the industry for quite some time and is fairly satisfied with what's been happening. That's obviously represented by the status quo here. And then you have the alternative, which is the agent who's looks at all these trends and does his best to actually accommodate and adjust, to remain relevant in an ever-changing industry. Okay, and we use the example of Mac and PC because really that's how we feel when we're introducing a new way of thinking and a new way of doing deals. Which is why we created DealTap. Okay. Does anyone here know what DealTap is? I guess that's why you're here at the session, but no, just you two? Okay, cool. Yeah, that's before. Okay, so what is DealTap? So DealTap is a digital real estate transaction tool that allows you to not only create offers, how you would on web forms, but also allows you to do negotiation and electronic signing. And the whole intent of DealTap is to close this entire loop, okay, with all these different tools with one platform, okay, and give you all the efficiencies that come with going paperless and going digital, okay. So I just want to give you guys a very basic walkthrough of how an offer or transaction on DealTap would work, okay. So Mark right here, he's the buying agent, and he has a DealTap account, okay. Mark could be from Remax Ultimate. And so he would log into DealTap through his laptop, okay, because it's a web platform. It works just like web forms does. Now you can access it from any browser, from any device, okay. So he's logging into his laptop and he creates a lease agreement, okay. He then shares that agreement to his client, Monica, okay, who then opens the link to the actual agreement from her phone. Because Monica is out and about, she's at a cafe with her family, okay? She quickly reviews the agreement and she signs directly off her phone using her finger, okay? The deal gets sent back to Mark. Mark reviews it and he says, okay, signatures are there, let's send it off to the other party. The other party gets an email link, and that's David, who's a selling agent, and David has never seen DealTap before. He doesn't have an account. The only thing he has is an email address and internet connection. Okay, so he opens up that link through that email and he sees the actual offer. And he says, okay, lease agreement for my client. I think that monthly rent is too low. Okay, so he quickly goes onto the agreement and he clicks edit. He makes changes to the actual live agreement. Okay, without having to print or edge things out with a pen. And all the changes that have been made by David are now visibly tracked and highlighted for all parties to see. Okay. He says, this is a great counter offer. I changed the monthly rent. I think everything else is fine, so I'm going to send it over to my client, James. Okay. James, he's on vacation at his cottage. Okay. And he's obviously interested in moving this deal as quickly as possible. So he logs onto his computer and he signs the counter offer. And he signs actually using his keyboard, so quite differently than how Monica signed with her finger. That signed offer then gets sent over back to the buying party, okay, to Mark. And Mark says, okay, this is a pretty aggressive counter offer. I think I need to meet with my client and explain this, okay. So he calls over Monica and they get together at the office and they chat about the offer. And he basically presents it to her from his laptop or through his tablet. And so, because Monica is standing right beside him, there's no point in sending an email to sign. He can just quickly toggle the signing feature in person and have her execute on the spot. Okay? The counter offer is signed, it's finalized, and the deal is done. And the main point here is that convenience was a great factor. People were working at their own pace, at their own place, and at their own time. Okay? And that not a single piece of wire device, paper, printer, scanner, or excessive traveling was used throughout this entire transaction. And that's it. Time to go? No. Almost. Okay, so I'm just going to walk you through some basic features of the actual platform. If anyone has any questions, just please just yell it out. So first things first, you can create offers on DealTap. So it works just like web forms. We're a licensed provider of all ARIA forms and clauses, and all that stuff is preloaded on the actual app. Okay, and that obviously includes the ability to create custom clauses, to add schedules, and so forth. Okay. So, like I showed you guys in my previous example, the ability to share and collaborate with other parties is really important. So, when you actually share an offer from DealTap to your clients or the cooperating party, they don't actually need anything except an email address and an internet connection. They need to register for an account. They don't need to log in for anything. All they need is those two things, which the majority of our very mobile fluent and tech-savvy nation, that represents a great majority of home buyers and home sellers. Okay, so very easy to collaborate, and the cooperating party can do all the basic things that the buying agent can do to facilitate the deal in a paperless fashion. So this is an example of what client signing looks like for your mobile phone. Okay, so what's really important here is that throughout our platform, our entire mantra is to really guide all the parties. Okay, and the way that we do that is through a few ways. First piece is obviously the signing component. Okay, so when you actually share an agreement to your client, you don't need to actually stipulate where they need to sign. We already know that. Okay, we guide them by popping up or by placing signature tags throughout the entire agreement, and guiding them through a progress bar here on the bottom, so that when the client opens, they know exactly what to do, they know exactly where to initial and sign off, and they know exactly how many of those signatures they need to complete. So they're always in the know, and there's less room for error in terms of incomplete signatures, signatures in the wrong place, which sometimes quite more so often is the usual case. Okay, and the actual signing component itself can be done through your finger if you're working on a touch device. You can do it on your mouse if you're using it off your laptop, or you can even actually type your signature using the keyboard. And I can show you how those pieces work. Cool? Okay, so change tracking and negotiation. So when you're negotiating an actual offer and you're amending an actual agreement, this is where typically everything jumps onto paper, right? And that's where a lot of the back and forth occurs. So in order to make sure that this agreement stays digital for the benefit of all parties, you have the ability to edit this live agreement. Okay, so if you're receiving an offer or you're sending through an offer, you always have the ability to click on edit page and change any single variable field within the actual agreement. And the beautiful thing about doing things digitally is that the system knows who's doing what and where the change has actually been affected. So we highlight in yellow, in bright yellow, all of the changes that have been affected. That way, when it's shared back with the original offer or the originating party, people know exactly what's been amended. Okay. And you'll notice here is that we have re-sign tags. So typically how amendments and initialing works on paper is that people would cross out this price, they would put in a new price on top, and they would reinitial that case, right? Instead, because we're sending different types of versions and we're sending clean offers, the parties only have to re-sign and reinitial on the page in which it's been affected. So you're not reinitialing those individual edits, you're only initialing the page on the bottom again. Okay?
So you're saying that when the receiving party gets this, it'll flip-flop between buyer and seller. We won't have to do that?
Yeah.
It just happens automatically.
It happens automatically. So it flips automatically, so you don't have to change it yourself.
So to edit, you just touch the highlighted area. Correct.
You don't. Well, so you edit the agreement, and then the highlighting happens for you. Yeah. So there's no one. So you're not in charge of saying I've changed this, I've changed that. In terms of showcasing to everybody, the system already does that for you.
I could keep all my bills on my hard drive, but also have a old school file cabinet where I keep all the hard copies.
Yeah.
So how can I print this out to show all the changes that were made and file it off?
Yeah, so I'll show you right now how that works. You can, at any point, you can always export an agreement in a PDF and then retain it and go back to paper if your clients aren't comfortable or the other party's not comfortable.
But will it show, like, if something's been changed 6 times, will that actually show the 6 changes?
No, not on this agreement, but it will show you here.
Okay. So there's something paper you can print and file away.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I was mentioning,
You can track it.
you can track it, right? So like I was mentioning before, we send clean offers every single time, and the way that we can allow for that is because we have version tracking. Okay, so I'll just explain this really quickly. So if I'm the buying agent and I send over an APS agreement to the cooperating party, I've technically generated version 1. Okay. When they open that agreement and they make certain changes and amendments, they send me the counteroffer, which gets then registered as version 2. And within that version 2, I get to see all of the fields that have been highlighted and changed. Okay. When I send them a counteroffer back, we get version 3, if you will, version 4, version 5, version 6, until the deal is done. And the beauty behind that is that I can technically export all of these versions into one report, and I can have basically a detailed history of all the transactions and all the different offers and counteroffers that we made. So that comes very, very handy with the whole RICO Bill 55, in the sense that you have now a complete sort of timeline of everything that's occurred and all the changes that have been done by all parties. Yes, sir.
So you're negotiating back and forth, and some items are agreed upon and others are still under negotiation.
Right.
Do those agreed upon items now become non-highlighted because there are no changes back and forth anymore?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's only the thing that has been amended. And what's great about that is that you don't have to, if an agreement says 2 pages and I've changed and all of it has been signed, okay, by one party, and the other party changes things only on the first page, the initials on the first page get cleaned up, get wiped out, and prompt a re-signing for the other party, right? However, the initials on the second page, they all stay in same and they all stay intact because there have been no amendments been made on that. Does that make sense? So only changes on pages that have been affected require reinitialing and re-signing. Right?
It's one initial
For the whole page.
will change.
Exactly.
But if you've made the changes.
Yeah.
You send it back.
Yeah.
Now some they're changing, some they're not.
Right.
That's just one initial again?
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
And is the color coding always the same color code? Does it change back and forth? It's always the same.
It's always the same yellow.
Okay, so you have to be aware
But
of
it's
that.
only highlighted what they've sent back. as
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And
In each version.
yeah, in each version. So I think it will make sense once I actually go through a demo.
I understand.
But we basically simplify it. So you're not working off one agreement and layering edits after edits on the same agreement and making things very complicated. We've split them up so that every single time you're sending a clean offer and you have a clean record of which is an offer, which is a counter offer, and until the actual deal gets done.
Is this then attached to the agreement of purchase sale, or we just need it for our files for the auditor? Or do we give, like, is this given to the office if they're audited?
Sure, absolutely.
Does this go with the?
I'm just wondering if that's the plan for that, or is it just for us?
It's for you, and it's also depending on what kind of process you guys have internally. I'm assuming with the whole RICO Bill 55, you probably want to have a retention of every single offer and counter
I just
offer.
wondered if it had to go with the agreement of purchase and sale
So
for the
it-
office.
Is it a default that it actually stays with you after all this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Does it stay, like, is there a limited time where it disappears or it
No,
stays?
no. So as long as you have an active account on DealTap, all the information here is stored in the cloud. and it's all
So as soon as you
encrypted
send a
and secure.
PDF to the office, everything's done. This follows, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So what you can do is you can actually share like the completed offer, which says version 4, to your office, or you can send them all of it if you'd like. Right? Each office has their own different preferences. For example, with RICO Bill 55, some offices prefer having the Form 801, which is the offer summary, instead of just giving all of the core offers themselves.
So at the end, when it's all signed and it's firm, and you want to send a copy to the client, you just send them.
The latest offer. Yeah, exactly. So you can see how you have here, you can just view every single one as individual items, and you can modify the latest one, basically, right?
And you said that it stays in your account
Yes.
indefinitely.
Definitely. And if you want to have, for your own peace of mind, an additional backup, you can always export the entire transaction in PDF and have it on file, right? But we're cloud-based, so you have basically access to this wherever you are in the world, right? So wherever you have internet access, if you want to do this from your vacation or away from home or whatnot, you can work on all these things, right? So that's the beauty of being mobile, right? Okay, so like I mentioned before, this is not an app you download from the App Store or Google Play or whatever the case may be. This is a web app, so this is something you log in or you sign up online. You have an account and you log in through dealtap.ca. Okay, and you do the same thing on your phone, same thing on your tablet, and same thing on your laptop. Okay, so works similar to like web forms, but it's just a tad better.
So we're moving from web forms to this. That is what we're doing. We don't need web forms anymore.
No, you don't need web forms. The only case where you would need web forms would be if you want to do commercial transactions.
So every file, like by representation, everything is in there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we focus on all the core residential forms on the actual platform. So commercial, this is probably not the best tool for you.
And you're able to put in custom clauses if it's not in the, like, you can actually write in schedules.
Yeah. So the app itself comes preloaded with ARIA clauses. It comes preloaded with all of your brokerage clauses, and you have the opportunity to create your own custom clauses.
So it has a retention for that.
Yeah.
And you can do that on your smartphone as well. You can type in the clause.
Yeah. It's probably not the most
Can you
convenient because you're typing on your phone, but I mean, if that's your,
So you can't transfer clauses from web forms or anything.
you can copy and paste them.
You can. Okay.
Yeah.
You can just deliver deposit checks too.
Almost. I think it was RBC that you can deposit checks through their app now.
Those are the next one.
ING as well.
And
ING, right?
CIBC does it.
Yeah, CIBC as well. Yeah.
There have been problems with forged checks and people getting them into it through the transfer. They're collecting them and sending them into their accounts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to become eventually very prevalent. If you're even depositing a $50,000 check through your phone, I mean,
Sooner or later they're going to go to fingerprints, I think. So.
yeah, or retina scan or whatever the case may be. So when you're actually sharing things through email, okay, this is a sample of what it looks like, right? So this is what the sample email looks like. It's branded, so you have your Remax Ultimate logo, and it's just a very beautiful way to present an actual offer. Okay, you're not sending a crummy sort of PDF attachment. It's just a link to an agreement. Okay, so there's actually no attachments to be made. All right, they click on View Offer, the browser pops up, and they see everything of the actual agreement. Okay. So, beautiful thing about all this is that we're actually integrated with Loan Wolf loading docs. Honest question: how many people here use it? Nobody? Okay. Well, maybe you can start begin using it now. So loading docs is basically a document management system that admins and back office use to collect and organize every single document per transaction, right? So just to give you an example, if you had a deal with 123 Main Street, loading docs would create a transaction 123 Main Street, and then their admins would collect the agreement of purchase and sale, the listing, the BRA, the FinTrack ID, all in one central place. That way they can archive it and facilitate all the paperwork, right? It's actually how you guys get paid. So the beauty with this is that once an actual agreement is finished on DealTap, you can just click Share with Lone Wolf, and that file itself gets sent directly to the back office, and they can review it. They can give you feedback if there's some things that are missing or incomplete. But I guess the whole mantra or the whole idea behind this is that it's a one-click share to office. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah. So we know when you're working on a lease, we know when you're working on an agreement purchase and sale, and that knowledge, that information helps us guide you. And the way that we guide you is that we can provide you proper notifications or pop-ups if there's certain things that are out of order. Say for example, you're signing with an expired revocability date, or you're signing with no revocability date. we have an appropriate message that says, hey, by the way, we won't stop you, but just so you're aware, this is probably not the best idea, right? And so it keeps people informed, and it makes agents a little bit more cognizant of the type of quality of paperwork they're completing, so they can avoid future liabilities down the road. Okay. And one thing else is that through digital, we can actually track every single edit and change done by every single party from start to finish. Okay, and that's very, very important, because through an audit report, similar to how you have a Facebook timeline of the moment you were born to when you created an agreement, created a profile, added this picture, updated this profile. We have the same sort of tracking logic within our system. So, in times of disagreement or times of legal dispute, God forbid, you have now an insurance policy you can fall back on and say, this is the actual case of the transaction, this is actually what happened, right? So it arms you up a little bit, and it serves almost like your backup insurance policy. So, security. So all of our information in the cloud is encrypted, and it's not only stored virtually in the cloud, but it's backed up in physical server locations as well. And to add to that, we have the ability to create a password behind every single offer you share. So if you want to enable it, you can put in a 4-digit PIN, okay, that require the other parties to type in order to access your agreement. So how many people here actually put passwords on the PDFs? Sure. You have? Okay. So, I mean, if you're dealing with a first-time buyer, or it's a first-time client and security is an issue for you, you have the option to add a password to your agreements to make sure that the intended recipient is actually the one who's opening the agreement. Okay?
It's just a way of locking up the document so that way nobody else can touch it.
Exactly. And only you know the PIN. Right. So you have to either call them or text them or send them a separate email with that information. But it's at your disposal.
That's a good idea.
Okay, so one last thing here before I start the demo. The beauty behind the platform is that we understand this is for some agents this is a completely overload in terms of learning curve or a new transition to doing business. So what we've done is that we offer you the ability to work on DealTap depending on your comfort level. So like I mentioned before, our core sort of functionality is you can create an offer, you can electronically sign, you can negotiate, and you can share with your back office, right? Thing is though, there's going to be a handful of agents out there who are going to work in this in stages, right? They're not going to go from start to finish right off the bat, and that also might be relevant with your clients. If you're dealing with a very traditional client who's not familiar with these signatures, you can simply just create the offer, similar how you would on web forms, and export as a PDF. Okay, go back to paper. If your client is comfortable with signing, but your cooperating party isn't comfortable with negotiating, after you sign, export as a PDF. Okay, so you can basically do the same sort of process at all these different stages and work depending on your comfort level. So when you and your surroundings are all perfectly comfortable or fluent with the platform, you can go from start to finish completely paperless with the platform. Cool. Okay, demo. Does anyone have any questions before I start this? No?
I do.
Yes.
So if you have an agreement of purchase and sale and let's say you have the price blank.
Right.
The client's going to initial it anyway because they're not going to be right there when they tell you what price to put in. Can you do that? How is that done if there's only one initial then? Because there's going to be something that's blank, and will it let you do that?
Yeah, it will let you do that.
So it'll let you do it even if it's blank, or if you have an irrevocable time that's blank, it will let you do that.
Yeah, it will let you. It's a fine balance between keeping people on the right path and completing compliant paperwork versus really inconveniencing them and preventing them from doing their job, right? But when you actually do update that purchase price and add that price, that initial that your client signed is going to be wiped out.
Right.
It's going to be prompting for a change, and it's going to consider for a reinitial.
So it'll need a reinitial.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna work for multiple presentations.
Yeah, that's what it's not going to. So it's fine. It's fine. I just want to know what it'll do and what it won't.
Why not? Each offer is separate.
Each offer is separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess So
55
correct me if I'm wrong. I'm
I think
not a real
most
estate
people-
agent.
I think most people show up to a multiple with their client and an empty price point, waiting to find out how many people they're competing against. So if they've signed at the bottom of the page, basically what Gina's saying is that you're going to write that number in, but you're going to have an actual, like, unless you're going to present on your laptop.
If you have your client ready on the phone, right?
If you have it ready on the phone.
Send it to them immediately when you put that price, they can just sign it right back right away.
Yeah,
Because of that, 'cause they're gonna be on point.
I thought it would be actually.
they're gonna have to be on point, either waiting outside in the cold if you're doing a deal in the winter, or home, which is even better.
Well, sometimes in the real world, I mean, that sounds good in the real world.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes they're somewhere else. Like sometimes they're not even in the country. You know, like there's all
Well,
kinds of.
well, that's-
I just want to know where
That's
our
even
boundaries
better.
are.
That's
That's
even
all.
better.
better.
That's
Right,
even
that's
better.
even the best thing about it, is that it can transfer anywhere in the world.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll get the, if you go to an offer presentation, in multiple offer situation, you can,
It's okay. I just want to know what the boundary was. I just wanted to have a sort of an understanding. So
Yeah.
The best thing is in real time too, right?
yeah, the actual limitations of paper is what's causing people to pre-sign things when things are empty, and that can get you a lot of trouble, right? I've seen a lot of agents, for example, they go to their clients and say, "Here's a blank MLS data sheet. Please sign this, and then I'll complete this when I get back into the office." Why are they doing that? Is because the actual process of them coming back to meet with them and go through all the hustle and bustle and traffic and whatnot is the inconvenient part, and so it's almost forcing you to resort to these, practices that can potentially expose a lot of liability down the road, right?
So this is not just agreement to purchase and sell. This is a listing agreements as well.
So all the forms,
Yeah.
BRA, FinTrack, MLS data sheet, whatever you want.
Are you gonna sooner or later go oral with this thing, do you think?
What do you
Like where you can actually speak into it, it does automatically fill in the blanks?
We're actually the first. I mean, we'll get there. I think the first iteration is probably going to be through text messages on the phone. So you can actually send a text message to your DealTap account with some basic keywords, and it can draft an offer on your behalf.
Just to be
Consider
clear,
it.
sorry, go ahead.
Sooner or later you will go oral.
I mean, eventually, yeah. That's where the industry's going.
Just to be clear, the other agent has to have the
It's
DealTap account as
okay
well
now.
in order for us to.
No. So they only need to have.
sign.
They don't need to have it all.
So if
So
I'm
last
if
time
I'm going to
they
multiple offer situation, and the other agent wants to make changes before I
I don't know
we
the
confirm.
account number.
Is he making the changes then in his email on my DealTap account?
So you can.
Can we just hear this again? Can I hear the question again, please?
The
Yeah.
question is, does the other agent have to have a DealTap account in order for us to go back and forth?
Yeah, to go back and forth. It's
Yeah.
the back and forth that's
That's the issue.
concern. That's the
Okay,
issue.
So what I'm saying is, if I come up to a multiple offer presentation, he's got 3 offers that are on paper. He's got, and I show up with my technology, and he says I don't have a DealTap account. Can I still present my offer just like all the other paper offers?
Absolutely. So you can do this in a few ways. So you can actually take your laptop or your tablet and you say, here's the offer that we're willing to make, right? He says, okay, that's too low, too high, you need to change that. You can go on the actual agreement, change it yourself. Or if you want to have the tracking of all the different versions, you can send it to his email. You can open it up. You can make the same amendments himself and send it back to you, right?
So if he asks me to leave, and he's going to talk to his clients on the kitchen table, and they say, you want to change this, he would then have to call me and have to make the changes from wherever I am outside of his house, I guess, and then come back in and represent.
Or you can make it on the spot. I mean, think of it as like as an opportunity for you to click the edit button wherever you are, make the changes that he asked you to make, and represent it again. That's it.
It's not different than making the changes on paper, right?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, some old school agents that.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Like,
Yeah, it won't be like, what do you with your tablet? Get out of here. I got
it's not us, it's them.
Well, you can print it at any time.
You can print it anytime,
So
right?
they kind of
You can
judge
also
the
just
other
call the
person
guy
on
and
the
say,
end.
are you technology friendly or do I need to have a hard copy?
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to do that.
So you can, and there are actually been a lot of agents that do both, right? They bring in their laptops or their tablets, and they bring an actual paper
Yeah.
agreement, and they present the paper agreement and say, okay, do you like this? Yes or no? And if they have certain amendments that they want to make, you can just do it on your tablet, and then have your client sign and export the PDF and sign it later and print it out later, right?
You got to know the
there's-
situation too, right? Yeah,
Well, do you know the email you registered with?
The
I can
first
remember
time
at
you
least
guys
that.
came to Baby.
Yeah, I think I did it too. I don't remember. That was like
If
way
you're gonna
back.
send this to us, so I can practice, like I gotta go home, I'll practice, but can we get this? Are you gonna send some kind of summary of the presentation,
Sure.
or just at least a log information so we know how to.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's very simple. It's you can just go to dealtap.ca.
What's the password here?
And everything you just showed us is on there? Pretty much.
Yeah, so you can go to here, claim your account. So if you go to sign up, okay, you go to get to this page. You guys have a premium account, okay, and you go in the very bottom. It says claim your account, right? So you claim your account. You put in your name, fill in out blanks or whatever, and you put in your unique brokerage code, which is AB. AB. That's why you guys are running first. So we have AA and we have AB.
Who was A?
It was actually our own account. So, okay, let me just, yeah, so go to dealtap.ca /sign up, and then click claim your account. Very nice. Okay, so on the very bottom here, claim your account. So, if you don't have an account already, just register. No? You know what you can do? Just put in your first name, your last name, and then put in your email. It's going to say right away if the email's already in use. Are you good?
I just sent
Are
myself.
you good?
I know I see it.
Yeah, just try.
Are they-
He said, just try put in your
You're in?
full name and the email you think that you're going to use. And if there's already an account, it'll tell
Right there.
you.
Claim your click on
No, not
claim
saying.
your account.
We're doing create your first offer, aren't you?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Oh, I don't have to do the AB.
So yeah, you're already ahead of the game.
Why is this doing this?
It's better to use Chrome.
Why is this?
What?
I don't even know what I'm using.
Oh, yeah, you're probably using an outdated Chrome. You gotta download Chrome. Chrome is like the Internet Explorer. You're good?
Can you use Chrome, you think?
Yeah, Chrome is by far the best, most stable. Your screen looks a little bit different because you have no offers in the actual pipeline, but this is what a heavy list offer looks like. So these are all of the offers that I have created on DealTap. Okay, each of them are individual line items. So there's address here, the data was created, the type of agreement it is, and the client's name. Okay. And so things that are highlighted in gray are the ones you created. Things that are highlighted in yellow are things that you received. Okay. And so we have some basic filters here on your left-hand side that you can use. So things that are drafts, registered, complete or unsuccessful will ultimately filter all the screen. So I have all selected, okay? And you'll notice is that when I scale this from side to side, okay, it actually adjusts based on my screen size. So that's why it can work on your mobile phone, your tablet, and so forth, okay? So if you want to create clauses, okay, you can click on the menu button in the top left corner, okay?
Should we click on this create your first offer? Are we supposed to do that or no?
No. So there's a little button on the mobile. It looks a little bit different, but it's basically this guy.
Oops.
There, so you can go click on clauses.
I see. But nothing happened. Oh, pardon me. I've been logged out.
Yep. Okay. You click on clauses. Okay. And so you have some basic groups here. So you have my clauses, you have my brokerage, okay, and you have all the arrear clauses that have been pre-populated into the system. Okay. Under your brokerage, you'll have probably Schedule B and some custom clauses in there. And then if under my clauses, you can have various groups. Okay, so say for example, you have a group of clauses for agreement of purchase and sale condo. Okay, and then within that agreement or within that group, you have individual line items. Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3, Clause 4. Does that make sense? the grouping of that. So, you know, say for example, I wanted to have a group of clauses that are only for inspection. Okay, so I would click on the bottom left corner. I click on Add Group. Okay, and I would say Inspection Clauses. Okay. So inspection clauses is selected, and it says create your first clause. Okay, so I'm going to click on the new clause button here. Okay, I'm going to put in inspection clause 1. Okay, and I'm going to add information like whatever the clause text is. So it's like add text here, add more information here. Okay, I'm going to save my clause, and it's right there. Okay, if I want to edit it again, I can click it. I can add to it. Okay, I can save it again.
I don't, somehow we got a different thing in here. When I pressed clauses, I got, pardon me, when I got those, the schedule.
Yeah, so did I.
Schedule B 1 through 6.
Yeah, what is
Yeah,
that?
because it pre-selects. So if you click on that, it pre-selects your Schedule B clauses.
I thought we were just going to clauses.
So you can what you can do is. It's strange.
I have the same thing.
Me too.
I have all the schedules as well.
Can I see it on your device?
But they don't actually open up.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you have to create a group first. So you got to create a group, and that group is just say custom clause
So in the filter item, that's where you create it?
in the add group button on the bottom.
I don't,
See at the very bottom, there's a little
I
add
don't
group.
have, I don't have any.
You have
see
to
the
go
plus
back to
sign
that
on top?
list where
Is that
you
what you're
were.
It's under here.
You were in it a minute ago. You were at say
Oh,
clause on
okay.
the top.
Okay.
The reason why you get a list of all those things, you can't edit them, is because those are brokerage clauses. So you can't technically edit them unless you save a custom version of them. Right. So your custom clauses here are blank, right? So I created my clauses, custom clause. You can create a new clause in there.
I get it now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay. So I think it might be just a little bit easier because if you start on the actual laptop and then work your way down to the mobile, because with this screen size you can see all the different buttons, whereas with the mobile screen they're a little bit hidden, right? So I'm just surprised why you can't scroll down to see the add page button. Add group button. I wonder what iOS system you're using.
What thing are we on? I am up to date on it.
Yeah, that might be it.
Well, it's not compatible?
No, it's compatible. It's just we do rounds of updates depending on updates from Apple. So we're typically reactive with these things. I think the reason why you can't see that add group button is because of the update.
Alright. Got it too.
Stay updated and see what happens.
Just too ahead of the game, bro.
That's me. That's funny, isn't it, Danny?
Did you figure out which browser you're using for here?
I tried moving through Chrome.
And you know,
I still
I
can't
have
see
new
it.
things on that Facebook page.
Zoom.
I don't know if we can-
Those are the pictures.
It's on
How
this.
you doing? Okay,
It's into
There's a few different ways, depending on where you have it.
Okay, you know what? It might be just better if I just showcase you through the app. Just try to be cognizant of time. Okay, so just to give you an example of, I created an expansion clause 1. I can create a new one here. Inspection clause 2. Okay. Just add a whole mumbo jumbo in there.
So would there be a place where we'll see all our clauses? We don't have to go to like group one. Like, can we just put all our clauses in the, you know, like how web forms has them in alphabetical order, basically?
Yeah.
So can you do that, or do you have to go through all these different, make all these groups? Just curious.
So the reason why you can create one group and you can basically dump all your clauses into one place, right?
Okay.
This is just a tool for you to organize things.
I
right?
got it. Okay. No
Yeah.
problem. I get it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay, so we created our custom clause, and this is something you'll probably do, you know, once in a blue moon when you have to update them. And the reason why you pre-create them is that when you're on the go, you can just quickly source them and add them directly into the agreement, right? Okay, so let me go on the menu and let me click on agreements. Okay, so let's go ahead and create a new agreement. All right, so we're gonna click on the new agreement button in the top right corner. Okay, and we're gonna create. What do you guys want to create? Freehold, condo, what?
Freehold.
Freehold, okay. We'll create freehold, okay. Now, we are in the people and property section of the app, okay. So this is where we put information about the people that are involved and the property address details, okay. So, I don't know, we'll just put, you know, 999 Main Street, okay. If there's a TREB MLS number behind this, you can input it, and then all the fields will pre-populate, okay. Similar to how it is to web forms. We'll just leave it blank for now. If you want to put the signature security, like that password, you can toggle between yes or no. Okay. We'll just keep it simple. We'll just turn it off. And now here, we need to add the people that are behind the deal. So let's go ahead and add the buyer. So buyer, test, okay, and we'll add their email. So it's their email, click buyer. Okay. They're not added here on the bottom. Everyone see that? Okay, now we're gonna add, say, the listing agent. Okay, and they have a different email. I don't know, 45@gmail.com. Okay, and we're gonna add them to the offer as the listing agent. Okay. Now, we typically right now at this stage we probably wouldn't know who the seller is. We wouldn't have their contact information, but we can leave that up to the listing agent to add it once they actually receive the offer. But just to give you guys an idea, say we know who the person is, seller test, and it's, I don't know, that's their email. Okay, we're gonna add them as the seller. So we're gonna click done. Okay, and this is the agreement, all right? So the agreement preview is here. Okay, you can go source through all the pages. Okay. On your left-hand side is basically the document stack. So it's just it's a navigation tool for you to jump from one page to the other, right? So you can go from page 4 to 5, okay, 3, and if you add schedules and whatnot, it just basically lists all the components that are added to the actual agreement, right?
How do you have a schedule?
I'll get to that in a second. On the very bottom here, okay, we have the signature progress bar. So it tells us for the entire agreement, we need to complete 16 signatures and initials. Okay, and that obviously changes depending on who you select. So if you select the buyer, it's going to go down from 16 to, like, I don't know, I think it's like 7 or something like that for the actual agreement. So that's that. Any questions so far? No? Okay, cool. So let's just say, for example, we want to fill in the rest of this agreement. All right, we're going to click on Edit Page. Okay, and we're going to add a few things. So we're going to add revocability time, a date. Okay, it's end of the month. Or sorry, end of the month. Okay, we can add, you know, frontings on, side, city. I don't know, Toronto. It's in meters. Legal description. You know, test. Okay, purchase price. Typically it's blank if you put no MLS number, but if you do, you can just say if it's a house, it's probably going to be $1 million. Deposit, I don't know, 20,000. Schedules A and B. Chattels, stove, fridge. Okay, click that. Oh shoot! Sorry. This internet here is on point today. Okay. Well, my changes have been captured, so we're good. Okay, so these are all the fields that I've inputted. Okay. And one other thing we want to add is the schedule, right? So we're gonna click on the Add Page button on the top left, bottom left corner, and we can add a schedule on the very, very top. Okay. And this is where the clause that we've created before in the past really pays off. Okay. So we choose if it's an A, B, C, D, or E, and then we select the group. So these are all the groups that we have in the system. Okay. If you guys remember, I created one called inspection clauses, right? I click on inspection clauses, and if you guys recall, I created two guides. So I can add them individually one by one, or if I really want to make this convenient, which is why you create a group to begin with, I can just add the group all together. So add the group, and they're both added here on the bottom,
Oh, I see.
right? So
Got
that's
it now.
that's why the value of actually doing
So you
groups.
put all your
Get it
clauses
now.
in one place, you just click add the group, will add all the clauses.
All the clauses within that group,
Okay.
right? So it's important for you to segment your clauses based on agreements or whatever type of other filter you guys typically work with. Does that make sense?
What about someone else's Schedule B that they send you, right? If they don't attach it to the MLS listing, how do you import that in?
Good question. I'll show you how to do that. So these are the clauses that I've added here. If I want to edit them more, I can just click on them and add further info, right? Click done. I can add more to this guy.
So if you just wanna make up a clause specific to this particular,
You can just write the clause content here, okay, and just add to clause. It's there. See that? See it? Okay. So now we have a little editing button here on this little dial here. We click on it and we can do a few things. We can delete them or we can strike through them. So if you want to strike through a clause, you can definitely do that on the system. So you click on strike through, and that clause is struck through.
Can you put your client's initials beside it? Like for example, home inspection. For home inspection, you strike it through and you want the initial. Is that possible?
You don't need to though.
You don't
because
need to.
At the bottom it automatically,
That's right. That's
Right.
right. You're right.
it carries over each time.
So if you were to if this was wasn't struck through or whatever, stricken through, stricken through, and then later down in the agreement you decide to strike it through, it would prompt your client to re-sign at the bottom because a change has been made, right? So it requires consent, right? Okay, so done. Okay, so you'll notice very quickly a schedule has been added here, and then our signature tally has gone up. It was 17 before, now it's 19 because we've added one initial for the buyer, one more additional initial for the seller. Make sense? So we can just show you how that looks like. So we have 3 clauses we've added. One guy's been struck through, and the other 2 guys are added here on the bottom.
This is so cool.
So Schedule B, right? If you have a PDF that you want to append as a schedule, you can just click on Add Page and click on the second option, which is Schedule PDF. Okay, and so you click on that guy, and then say it's a Schedule B, right? You can browse from your computer. I'm just trying to think if I have a PDF.
say their Schedule B isn't in your computer.
Well, you can download it. You can download it from the MLS. Can you not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So.
And if not, their secretary can usually send it to you on PDF.
Depends on what their schedule says anyway.
So hold on.
But can you then manipulate the PDF?
You can crop it, and that's the extent you can do.
Crop?
Yeah.
Meaning?
Meaning you can, not shrink it, but you can cut corners, like cut the size. So
Because sometimes, offices schedule Bs are ridiculous and they need to be changed in some way.
So you would either have to retype them, right? If it's a fillable PDF, you can just copy and paste them. But in most cases, from what I hear, 95% of the time, they typically stay intact, right? But if it's a PDF, the reason why we have the cropping tool is because when you download a scheduled PDF, it has a header and footer, right? And so if you crop those 2 guys out and add it to the system, it already has a header and footer for you. where you can actually sign and manipulate. So I just want to. Does anyone have like a scheduled PDF you can send me or something? Just trying.
Yeah, I can do that. What's your email?
Just Dusan at dealtap.ca.
That's DUSAN.
DUSAN, yeah.
DUSAN at DealTap.
.ca, yeah. I just want to show you how that works.
When do you think they'll make it compatible with the new update? Because my iPads have been updated as well.
Yeah, they do system updates like bi-weekly. So the next one's actually happening this Friday.
I just sent it to you.
Okay. The reason for that is because when Apple and Google they make updates to their software, there's no pre-announcement for all the software providers. So we have to become reactive instead of proactive, right? So there's sometimes a small gap in lead time in that. Sometimes the updates don't impact our system. Other times they do, and I think that's what you're suffering with right now. Anyway, let me just.
What you want to do too is that if you're using it on your phone, whenever a new update from Apple comes out, wait a couple weeks maybe.
Really?
Yeah, you can keep using your phone. You don't have to update right away.
So what's your? I guess you guys have a back like a support team we can call.
Yep.
What's that number?
It's on our website. It's on the contact us on the very bottom. We're open 9 to 5 weekdays, and 24/7 via email. Okay, so I just downloaded Schedule B to my computer. I'm gonna click Browse, and if everything cooperates, this will be done. So it's out there for you. Cool.
So if you didn't do that, would it come in and you could just fill it in again, or it would be not?
No, if you didn't crop it, the whole thing will there'll be like a double,
Yeah.
right? It just wouldn't look presentable. Right? Okay, so let me just show you how signing works. Signing. Okay, so your client's sitting right beside you. Why send them an email to sign for things? Have them sign directly from off your device. Okay, so you're going to click on the grand total button here on the bottom right corner. Okay, and these are all the different roles within the agreement. So this is from the buying side. This is myself. This is my client. Okay, on the selling side, there's a listing agent and there's a seller. Okay, so my buyer or my client is sitting right next to me. Click on his name or her name, and signature tags appear throughout the entire agreement. So there's no dragging and dropping. There's no saying, okay, you need to sign your initial here, and it's all done for you because we know who's who and we know where they need to interact. And you'll notice from the very bottom, okay, the progress bar wasn't 19 anymore. It's now 9 because we changed the user. Okay, so to give you an idea how signing is like, you click on the initial tag, okay, and now here they can sign. So I'm going to sign here with my mouse, but you can equally sign if it was a tablet or with your finger. Okay, and so I'm just going to sign like that. If it's no good, I do it again. Okay, and I accept. And so you'll notice the initial has been placed here on the bottom, and it went from 0 out of 9 to 1 out of 9. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so if you had multiple buyers, and the other buyer would add or would sign as well, it would know how to separate the initials to make sure there's space within the box. Huh?
What if there's 4?
Currently, right now, we don't support 4, so we support 2 on each end. But we're, like I said, we're doing a system update, so it's going to allow 4 on each end.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So by end of August.
So how do you get the second one in there? There's no.
Well, we haven't added that additional buyer, so I can add another buyer if you like.
Oh.
Sure, why not? Sure.
Yeah, but would the red bar show again? If there were
Well, I'd have to change the buyer to the other person. So it's an individual basis kind of thing, right? I think about it from a tracking perspective. I want to make sure that you signed, and if the other buyer is your wife, that she signed and she did what at a certain time and so forth, right? Yeah, that's basically how it's done.
You don't need all 4 buyers to sign. You can get them all done later. I mean, you can get 1 done, 2 done, and have them all out later.
Yeah, you can do that. But if they're on title,
Just if you don't have room for them to sign, you just do it in the amendment later. That's fine.
Sure. But keep in mind though, if they're actually buyers or sellers and they're on title, if you add them, everybody needs to re-sign again. Because you've fundamentally changed who the party is, and now everybody has to reconsent
So
to
if you
that
had
change.
an amendment to sign it, you have to get everybody to re-sign again?
Sorry, say that again?
It's an amendment.
You have two signatures because you only allow 2 signatures.
Right.
You still have 4 people.
Right.
So you do 2. You do an amendment for the other 2 to add them to the offer, which just adds them into the offer.
So
It
they
doesn't
only
add them
have
to
to
the
sign the
signature.
amendment.
And then they only have to sign the amendment. They don't have to sign the initial of the buyer's end. Because the amendment automatically gives them carte blanche in there. As a buyer.
If you add an amendment,
It's
how
just
would
a
you
way
get?
of
It
skirting
automatically
around
adds them to
4 people.
everything.
It's
Right.
just it's you delete who was originally on title, add who's going to be everybody on title, and that party sign.
In other words, you had 2 people on
It's just
title
a
in
way
the
of
offer,
skirting
Yeah.
around.
right? You get them to sign initial of the buyers.
Yeah.
You can't get 4 to sign right now, so you have to do an amendment to the offer, attach it to the offer,
At
and
the
the amendment
end.
goes into the offer. They automatically become part of the offer. They don't have to sign because you just
Oh,
add
well,
them at
wouldn't
the
the
end.
amendment have to get the 2 original guys on there as
Just
well?
adding them. You
Yeah.
don't have. Yeah, you get the 2.
You would need to, right? So you
Yeah.
wouldn't have a place for 4 people to sign anyways.
So even on the
You only need
amendment,
those 2 people.
You just
You
have to
only
do a
need
separate-
those
so
two
you have to do
original
a separate
people.
original paper then for the amendment. That's all.
Okay.
This
Or
is
you
just-
have-
I don't think the system will allow you to add those 2 additional buyers.
But you will in August. You said.
It will in August. Yeah, it will in August. So in August, what's going to happen is that we're going to create 4 4 quadrants within this initial box,
Yeah.
and then we're going to appropriately scale each signature depending how many buyers there are, right? But keep in mind, I mean, like the frequency of having 4 buyers on title is not really common in Toronto. It might be a little more common in Milton or in Brampton.
I just have to have
Within
3
different
of them
type of
right
ethnic
now.
communities. What's
I
that?
just have to have 3 sets of 4 buyers right now. So.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you're an anomaly, but
Yeah.
it's not as often as you might think. But
This is end of August or beginning of August?
end of August. Okay, so I'm just gonna sign again. Okay. Okay, keep going. I just want to show you how the change tracking stuff works. Okay. And here we're gonna initial. Okay. Now
Where's the signing page?
you're on it.
Those are just initials. Oh, there.
Right
Okay,
there.
that's okay.
So sign. And so if you want to have your witness, for example, now they have to actually put in who that witness is. So there's no more funny business. It could be the agent himself, but test, and then test at dealtap.ca,
Oh wow.
right? The witness is signed. Now it's there. Cool? Make sense? And then on the very bottom here, for example, for the
I
schedule.
think it's more right now. It's if you're faxing it or email, it's more on merit. So
Yeah.
But hang on a minute. The witness rules would still apply. So if you're not with your client, you can't be a witness for your client.
Correct.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so now we're done with the agreement. It's signed. It's beautiful. Let's share with the other side, okay? So we click on the share button in the top right corner, and you can do a few things. So you can share with your client if they weren't there to sign in person. You can share with the agent. You can share with Lone Wolf for that loading docs piece, or you can just export to PDF. So you know how we talked about in stages? You can right now, if clients aren't ready to sign, you can export as a PDF and then go back to paper. Okay. So let's go click on share with agent. This is the email that we have for the agent. The message is accept as is. Thanks. Okay, so we're going to notify that individual. Okay. And now we've technically created version 1. Okay. When they send us a counter offer back, it's going to be version 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Okay. So now I'm going to sign out. And now I'm going to put on my listing agent hat on. Okay. So in Gmail, it would say, please ignore the logo. Okay. This is just a demo account. I'm not a right-at-home agent. Don't be alarmed.
Or are you?
Okay, so the email is going to be, hello listing agent, accept as is, thanks. Please click on the button below to view the offer for 99 Main Street. Okay. It looks actually a lot nicer. I just have a really an outdated demo account. So we're going to click on view offer. Okay, and that's it. So if if I enable that PIN security system, they would be prompted to add that 4-digit code before they actually got to this page. But I disabled it for just demo purposes. Okay, and so assuming this agent has never seen DealTap, he doesn't know what the hell he's looking at, we guide them when they first open this. So we say, okay, step 1, you can make a counter offer by simply tapping the edit page. Okay, next. You can sign on any device with your finger or mouse, okay? And you can send the offer for signing via email at a later time. That's it. So now look at this and they say, holy shit, only $1 million? That's probably not enough. So they wanna make certain amendments to this. They're gonna click on edit page, okay? And they're gonna say, okay, revocability date, we'll end it by the end of the week. Okay, we'll change it to 1.2. Deposit will be $25,000. Okay, and that's all the changes they're making. So we're gonna click on done. And you'll see that the purchase price has now been changed. It's been highlighted as 1.2 million. Okay, the deposit has changed because we went from 20 to 25. The revocability has been changed. Okay, and the buyer now has to re-sign that page.
And then you don't have to do all the initials for all those individual things.
Yeah, so you don't have to reinitial for that. You don't have to reinitial for this, reinitial for that. It's all very clean. It's just a lot easier for your client.
It is, except, sorry, go ahead. I was just gonna say that sometimes the client likes to see each thing you're doing. And say a closing date was changed, but I didn't notice that. They just looked at the price and then the initial at the bottom and they say, oh, I never even realized that.
It's highlighted.
That's when you go back to
highlighted.
version-
It's
that's when you
highlighted.
go back to version 1, 2, and 3 and show them.
Yeah, and at the
You
same
can call
at
them
this,
and drive through.
at the same time, there's got to be a little bit of onus on the agent to walk through their agent and guide them. We do as much as we possibly can by guiding them where to sign, where things have been highlighted, how many more initials need to be done. That's what's coming with the property. Say for example, I want to make an amendment to this. I want to strike through the last guy. Click done. You guys been highlighted. Okay, makes sense. Okay, so now I'm going to share this back with the client or the agent, sorry, or I can just export as a PDF. I have control at any stage here.
But at
Where
this
does the
point,
seller
would this
sign?
not be going to the seller?
You can, yeah, you can.
Like, it wouldn't, why send it back
I
without
just wanna
initials
show-
from the seller?
I just want to show you what the versioning looks like.
Okay.
But I mean, if you want me to show you how the client piece looks, that's no problem. I can click on share with client, and I can notify my client. Okay. Sign out here. Okay, so listing agent has shared a document with you. Please click on the button below to view the offer for 99 Main Street. So view offer. And so this is all they see. So they're guided. They say, tap red tag to sign. Sign digitally on any device with your finger and mouse. And send it back to your agent via email at any time. And so you see right here, there's no edit
No access.
page, no add page, no nothing, right? So they're prompted automatically here with initials. They can sign, accept, your initial, sign,